Welcome to the teaching learning section of this channel. We have heard your voice and know many of you are doing virtual learning from home, and some may be back in school and need a little extra help. We're going to try to answer the call and help as much as we can with this section of our channel. So stay tuned. In this video, we're going to look at word problems. Here's our first one. A class has blank children. Blank of the class are boys. How many of the class are girls? Have you noticed anything? There are no numbers here. So you're probably wondering, how are you going to solve this problem? Well, here's the thing. I want you to first look at it as a problem. Let's put the problem together before you put numbers in it so that you're really sure what you're doing, okay? So the first thing we're looking at is we're looking at a class. So let's have us a little line down here that represents the class, okay? Then we have another line here, and that's going to represent the boys. So we're going to mark that here. Okay, now the question is, how many of the class are girls? Notice there's no blanks here at all because that's the actual problem we're solving for. So I'm going to draw a box, and that's where the answer is going to go when we get the answer. What do you think? Okay, so I'm going to reduce the size of my pen. Now, we're looking at class of children. And you see children, that implies both boys and girls. So that would be a total, okay? So we're looking at a total here, and we're looking at a number of boys here. And you have to determine from this total and the number of boys here what the answer is. Now, how do you think we would do that? If we look at this as a total, and we look at this as a number that we need to get out of this total, that means we're not going to add to the total. We're actually going to get something out of the total. So anything you're getting out of it, we're having to subtract. So we now know by building our problem here that we have a total here, and that represents the children. We have a number here that represents the boys. And over here in our answer box are going to be the girls. So now all we need are our numbers. So let's get them filled in, okay? So we've got 33 total for the class of children. Now over here for the class of boys, we have 15. You all have to excuse my writing. It's not always the best, but that's 15. So we've got 33, and we're going to put them down here in our problem. So we've got 33, and we've got 15. So we're going to actually be subtracting 15 from 33. Now, once we do that, now, can you all guess what that number is? Or better yet, not guess, but actually do the problem. So 15 from 30. Now, if you're thinking in your head, which we all tend to do, 15 and 15 we know is 30. So if we're going to be subtracting 15 out of 33, I'll go at it like this. I'm going to take 15 from the 30, which I know will be 15. Then I'm going to add the 3 to the 15, which will give me 18, which will actually give me my answer. So we now know that a class has 33 children. 15 of the class are boys, and we now know 18 are girls, and that's the answer to this problem. All right, in our next problem, we have Jack, and Jack goes shopping with blank. He spends blank. How much does he have left? That's a pretty good question, wouldn't you think? Well, what we have to discover here is that we're not worrying about the numbers right now. We just want to work the problem out to the best of our ability, right? Okay, so by doing that, we're going to take a look at building our problem out. So, Jack goes shopping with blank. Let's put a blank down here for Jack going shopping. That's our first blank. Now, we're going to put a second blank down here to represent what he spends. So here's our second blank. Okay, and of course, we're going to need an equal sign, and we're going to need a box to put our answer in. Okay, I'm going to reduce the size of my ink here just a little bit and change the color. Okay, so now that we know that Jack went shopping, we need to know how much did he spend. Okay, so in order to do that, the first blank is going to represent the money he has to go shopping with. The second blank is going to represent what he spent. So, and the box represents the total of it. But in order to get the total, the second blank has to come out of the first blank. In order for that to happen, what are we doing? Are we addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? And those are the things you have to ask yourself. How do you get that out? So, by knowing you see the word left, which says something like you're going to take away, that means we're going to subtract. Now, putting the numbers in, it's not going to be a problem at all, and we can easily do this problem. So let's put our numbers in. Let's see here. We're going to put $5. Okay. And then he spends, let's put in here $1.80. Maybe he went out and bought a bag of chips. Don't know, but let's see what we get. So let's fill in our problem down here. So we now know that he had $5 to begin with. Okay, and he ended up spending $1.80. Okay, does that look right to you all? Let's read it. Jack goes shopping with $5. He spends $1.80. How much does he have left? We've already built the problem. We know what we have to do. So we take the $5, and some of you probably have already done it in your head, and that's great. But for the rest of us, we have a scratch sheet. We're going to put it down here. And you just simply do the math now. 0 from 0, nothing from nothing, leaves nothing. 8 from nothing can't be done. So you have to go and borrow from the 5, leaving that a 4, making this a 10. So now you're going 8 from 10. And what does that leave you with? I hope you said 2, because I did. And 1 from 4. What does that leave you with? And if you're thinking, or if you know it's 3, I'm glad. So now we're looking at $3.20. And so you all know what we're working with. There's our little number sign. Okay, so we're going to put that in the box. $3.20. You've solved the problem. Just that easy. Once you figured out what it was going to have to take to get the answer, and then you did the numbers, put the numbers in, did the work, got the answer. How easy was that? As I always say, easy peasy. We're going to get ready to move on to the next one. And here's our next problem. Jack finds blank in one pocket and blank in his other pocket. How much does Jack have altogether? Well, let's see about building that out and see how that works. Okay, so we know Jack dug in his pocket and came across some money. So we're going to go ahead and let's see here. And we're going to put a blank here to represent what he found first in his pocket, or what he found in his first pocket. And let's see, we're going to do another blank here to represent what he found in the other pocket. Okay? And of course, we're going to have us an equal sign, and we're going to have our box right here to indicate our answer. Okay, I'm going to come over here and reduce my pen size, and then let me see, and change the color of the pen. Now, looking at this, we're going to dissect this problem a little bit, okay? Jack finds some money in one pocket and some money in the other pocket, and now we're being asked how much does he have all together. Okay, when you see the word all together, that means you're putting it all together, which means we're going to be what? Are we subtracting? Are we adding? Are we multiplying? Or are we dividing? And if you said adding, you would be correct. So let's go ahead and put that sign there to represent addition. Okay. So now all we need are the numbers. We already know what to do with the numbers, and that's what I want you guys to concentrate on, what you need to do with the numbers. Before you dive into those numbers, don't let the numbers get all confusing to you, okay? So let's see, the first thing, or the first amount he finds in his first pocket is $1.75. And in his second pocket, he found $2. Now let's assume, guys, he's finding change and maybe a dollar bill here and there. Okay, so now we know the first thing he finds is $1.75, and in his other pocket he finds $2. Let's plug those numbers in. So we got $1.75, and then in the second blank we've got $2. Okay, now some of you may want to go grab your scratch piece of paper or do it in your head, but this is the time where you would either need to scratch sheet of paper or do it in your head, but this is where you want to go ahead and add that up. Okay, so we know you add 5 to nothing, you get 5. You add 7 to nothing, you get 7. Nothing changed here. You just drop down to 75 cents. Now we add the 1 to the 2, and you get 3. And of course, we're talking money. And now all we got to do is take this answer and plug it in. And now you have your answer, $3.75. Like I said, guys, easy peasy. Now let's see what happens in the next one. Okay, our last word problem of this video, and let's read that. A bag of cherries has blank ripe ones and blank rotten ones. How many cherries are in the bag? Now, we look at this and we need to go ahead and build our problem. So I'm going to go ahead and put a blank line here to represent our first one, which is going to be ripe cherries. And we're going to have a second line right here, and that's going to represent the rotten cherries. And of course, I'm going to have an equal sign, and I'm going to have a box to represent our bag of cherries, or our final answer. Okay, so now we know we've got ripe ones and we've got rotten ones, but they want to know how many cherries do we have in the bag. They didn't actually ask if they were ripe or rotten. They just want to know how many cherries are in the bag. So if you think about that, then you know, then all they're asking you to do is to what? They're asking you to either subtract, add, multiply, divide. And those are the questions that you need to let kind of ruminate in your head, if you will, just rummage around. Now, if you say to yourself that all they want to know is how many cherries are in there, that just told you exactly what you need to do. And I'm hoping you said plus. So that's what you're looking at. You're looking at some addition here. So all we need now are numbers, because we know what we need to do. It's already laid out for us. So our ripe cherries, we've got 43 ripe cherries. And if you like cherries, that'll be a great number for you. Now let's see, how many rotten ones do we have? 17 rotten ones. I hope you guys do not eat rotten cherries. Now we're going to plug these numbers into our little problem here, our little problem scenario down here. So we're going to put in our 43, and then we're going to plug in 17. And guys, forgive that that addition. It does look kind of wonky, but that is a plus sign. Okay, so now you guys, we have in here what we need. We know we need to add 43 plus 17 to give us our final answer, which is how many cherries are in the bag. Now, if you all know it in your head, that's great. But for the rest of you guys who take out a scratch sheet of paper and just do a quick little rundown of the numbers, and this is what it can look like. You can easily do this. We know 7 and 3 is 10. You drop the 0, you carry the 1. Now you add all of that together. You've got 4, 5, and 6. And we plug that number right in here. And now you have solved the word problem. You have 43 ripe cherries and 17 rotten cherries in a bag. And the question is, how many cherries do you have in the bag altogether? 60 is your answer. Now, there are some keywords that we saw here, and I haven't really gone in depth with keywords because I don't want you hanging your hat on keywords, because although keywords are helpful, and I will have a video talking about keywords in word problems later, I don't want you hanging your hat on it, because sometimes it can kind of lead you kind of in the wrong direction. And it doesn't happen often, but it does happen. Okay? And that's what the next video will be when I do the video on keywords and word problems. So be looking out for that. And also other future videos will delve into multiplications and division and things of that nature. So again, I do encourage you, look out for these videos, and I'm hoping that they're helping you in all of the working that you're doing. So until next time, guys, I'll see you then. As a reminder, please help support this channel by subscribing and hitting that like button.